Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Personally, I feel like when you guys are asking me about boot camp, when you guys have questions, I can tell that you guys already have like your idea of it. Like it's just like you're just standing there quiet, everything's all serious. I decided that today I'm going to share with you guys some memories, some things that went down. It hopes to better explain kind of like what goes down, you know? Um, but yeah, some of these are funny, some of these are like, oh my god, that actually happened. But yeah, I have a couple stories, so this might be a little bit long. I don't know how long this will be, but prepare for some stories. So this first memory that I have is something that I think about a lot actually. It was just crazy to me. Something that I would stress out about is the showers. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to shower with these like all these random people. So already the showers were gonna be awkward for me. We all kind of had this mindset of like, keep your eyes forward, don't make any eye contact, don't touch anybody, don't look at anybody. And it was working until you freaking heard somebody fall on the floor. And it was just like so hectic. Like we heard somebody fall and nobody wanted to look, nobody wanted to touch this person. We just heard the fall, but then the person that fell didn't even make any noise. I'm like, oh my god, she's freaking dead. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not trying to look down until we heard like she started like about to start crying. And I'm like, oh, we need to help this person. So somebody's like, oh my god, are you okay? And like went down to like see if she's good. The minute that happened, everyone's barrier broke and we're like, oh my god, let's help her. And then I'm just like, oh my god. And then it just clicked. Like I have like 90 naked females from all ages, from 18 to 40. Yeah, that was just like the first like what the fuck moment from boot camp. I was like, oh, okay. But she was fine. Nothing bad happened. Like we made sure she didn't hit her head. They checked her like for concussion and she was good. So that's what mattered. But I was like, oh my god. So when you're eating, you're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to like it's not a social time. You sit there and you freaking eat and we get back to training. I had a friend who was really cool, really nice, really outgoing until you piss her off. And she was sitting in front of me, you know, I'm like enjoying lunch, you know. And the girl next to her, I guess, wanted like the salt or the ketchup or something on the other side. You can get away with like little whispers, like, you know, can you pass or like point. But no, she didn't even bother trying. She reached over my friend's tray and grabbed whatever she was trying to grab, and my friend snapped. She got so mad. She's like, you did not just reach over my tray. And she like actually was like talking to her like she was mad. I was like, and I was like, hey, tone it down. I'm like, oh my god. Obviously the RDCs found out, and I honestly forgot if we got in trouble for that or not, because we got in trouble so many times for so many different things. I can't remember what was for what. So one thing that one of my RDCs did, she was trying to be nice to us but like not show it in a way. She was like, look, I found this box of protein bars and coincidentally there's just enough for every person in this compartment, so who wants one? So this girl, she was like, oh, I'll take one. She gives it to her and she's like, since you want it, I'm only gonna give you 60 seconds to eat it. If you don't finish it in 60 seconds, the whole division's gonna get beat. And we're like, oh, she got this. Like, we've seen her eat before, we're good. That bar was so dry. Like, she was having trouble swallowing it. And I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get beat because you couldn't eat a freaking granola bar. She did it. And then she's like, okay, now the whole division's gonna eat a protein bar. And if not a single person finishes it in 60 seconds, we're all gonna get beat. And I was like, oh god. So we all got one and we ate it and we didn't get beat, and it was pretty good. The reason why we did get beat is somebody opened their freaking bar and like the little corner piece, she dropped it on the floor and we couldn't find it. But then the RDC found it And she was like, who the fuck was eating snacks? And I'm like, well, that's the snack that you gave us. And then we got beat for not picking up after ourselves. So it kind of came back and bit us in the ass. Another thing that I feel like is never really talked about, they do a man overboard drill. So what that is like we like pretend somebody fell over, like fell out of our ship, and our whole building is our ship. So you can be sleeping, like knocked out, and they will grab like over the 1MC, which is like our intercom, be like, oh, man overboard, man overboard. And there's like sections that are divided like into the compartment where we sleep. So I was a section leader, so my job was to jump out of my rack because I was on the top, jump out, run to the table that was in the center of the compartment, and I had to like take muster, which is like attendance and shit. I had all my people. It was our first one, and we were literally about to kill each other. It was the most hectic night I remember. Oh my god, I wanted to go home so bad. Like, I never fought anyone, not even in high school. I never got into a fight before, but I was getting ready to just throw hands with the next person I saw. It was that bad. Like, once the section leaders take their attendance, we have to give it to the yeoman, and then the yeoman runs it down to the OOD, which is the officer of the deck. Somebody's like, oh, so-and-so's missing. I was like, what do you mean they're missing? But we have 7 minutes to get like this sheet downstairs, and if it's not down there, we're gonna get in trouble. So might as well let's go, like, make sure you go take it. So the yeomen go downstairs and they take it, and they come back up. They're like, dude, the OOD's really mad. Like, they said, like, we need to find this person. Like, how do we lose somebody? And I'm like, well, what do you guys want me to do? Like, literally, I threw out my ideas. And like, we're all just bickering and going at it, and like, just go. At this point, it's been like 10 minutes and we're past our time, and like, we just don't know what's happening. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. And so the yeoman's like, we're just gonna have to go down and tell them that we can't find them. They go down there, and they are actually taking like a little bit like longer. And then when they come up, they're like, oh, we found her. I was like, where was she? And apparently she was actually one of the ones that was standing watch downstairs. But we didn't know. We didn't bother to check who was downstairs. Like, we didn't remember that one of our people was going to be downstairs that night. We're like, all right, fuck this shit. Like, we're done. We get to go to bed now. Because at this point, it's about to be 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. Let me go to sleep. And we just hear RDC's just like pounding on the door, and I was like, oh my god, why are they trying to talk to us? Like, go away. And then they're like, everybody on the tow line. Like, everybody was like standing outside of the racks at this, and we're just like, oh my god, we're not trying to deal with anything. Like, we only get a certain amount of time to sleep. What is going on? And so they're like, you guys had 7 minutes to find the person that like was missing, like to like have everybody accounted for. And we're like, well, we didn't know. She's like, I don't want to fucking hear it. And then she's like, you guys literally didn't even bother checking every little piece of paper that you guys had, anything that you guys had to find out where everybody is. And then she showed us the piece of paper, like, look, right here it stated that so-and-so was going to be downstairs. You guys literally, like, did not put in any effort. It's like 7 minutes. You guys took 14 minutes to find somebody. And he's like, in 7 minutes, when somebody falls overboard, like, on the actual ship, they're pretty much gone. You need to grab that person within at least 5 to make sure they're perfectly fine and perfectly safe. And then they're like, look to your left. No, look to your right. Like, that could be one of your buddies. Like, because of you guys, your buddy could be dead. We're all crying. We all feel bad about ourselves. We're just like, we're sorry. We don't want anybody to die. We're like these little, like, emotional, hormonal drunk bitches at a club. Like, we're just like, ah. They leave, and then we're still crying. We're still like, oh my god, I love you guys. Like, oh, my sisters for life. And we're just crying and emotional. And yeah, that's one of the nights that I won't forget, like, ever. And it's just like instilled right here. Another thing that I wanted to point out is when I was in boot camp, I went in October 1st and I graduated November 30th. So for the Navy's birthday, we actually had some really good dinner. It's good. There's pancakes and waffles and French toast every morning with some freaking hash browns and eggs and bacon and sausage, everything you can think of, and a whole bar of fruit and yogurt. So yeah, and then dinner switches between like chicken fillets, and there's fajitas, and there's like taco bowls. The food is good. But for the Navy's birthday, You had the choice between salmon, a steak, or a lobster. And there was this guy in my division that was freaking out, losing his mind. He's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have lobster for the first time in my life, la la la. And he was so excited. And I'm like, oh, how cute. He sat next to me when we were eating. And I just hear, like, out of nowhere, I just hear this, like, loud, obnoxious ass crunch. And I look, and he's eating the freaking shell. We're just, like, trying so hard not to lose it, because we're gonna get in trouble. So I'm like, you're not supposed to eat that. He's like, y'all said to dip it in butter. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. I was about to start, like, just, like, laughing. I understand. You've never ate lobster before, but I'm pretty sure you've seen a movie. But yeah, we had lobster. Since I told you guys I was there from October to the end of November, yes, we did get snow. Navy boots are not ice friendly. You freaking slip and skid on ice, that's your ass. My division's A-Rock, meaning I would be like towards the back of the division and I would be the one that sings cadence. I sing songs to make sure that everybody is in step. In the back with me are my road guards, so that's like the tallest people in the division. And anytime that we need to cross the road, these, like, there's 4, but like 2 of them would run to the front of the division onto the street and make sure they're stopping cars. Our pot calls the road guards out, and these 2 men start running, and next thing you know, they're like running in place and they just boom, just like fall on their backs. I'm singing cadence and I was like, oh my God, don't laugh. If I laugh, everyone's gonna know I'm laughing. My chief's gonna chew me out. I'm like, oh my God. And I couldn't. I start dying. And my chief, I guess he doesn't see them fall. So he turns out and he's like, what the fuck is funny? And he sees these 2 men on the ground and he loses it. The division is dying. They're laughing. My chief warned us. He's like, if you guys ever lose bearing like that again, and if there's any like other division, like, thank God no other RDC, no other division saw, but we would have gotten beat the minute we got to our compartment. Like, we are not supposed to break bearing, especially if a shipmate gets hurt. I was one of the lucky people that got to have her wisdom teeth taken out in boot camp. I can't remember. Yeah, it was with I took the needle and then they just like, the lady's like, you're gonna hear a pop and some pressure and we're gonna be done. I was like, okay. And yeah, I felt like pressure. Like, it didn't hurt. You just like know something's there. And then you hear like, and then she's like, look. And she showed me my teeth and I was like, oh, cool. Thanks. Literally, I was laying down and I went like that and I thought this was my lip. And I'm sitting there laughing and she's like, okay, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, like I couldn't really talk. Also, like, if I like open my mouth too wide or like move my tongue too much, like, I could mess with the stitching and I would start bleeding. Like, we were sitting in a compartment for like half an hour and then they're like, okay guys, it's lunchtime. I had my strategy already. I was like, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna eat my lettuce with my front teeth. Like, I got a salad and I was like, okay, I'm good. So I'm eating it and everything's good. And then I realized the chicken had like pepper, like actual pepper, and that shit was like burning my throat. And I was like, so I'm like choking and then I'm like drinking my water, like, but I couldn't drink my water. It was like coming out of my mouth. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And so I recovered from that. And then I'm like, okay, let me continue to eat, like using my front teeth. And like, I could feel a little bit. So I'm like chewing. And then the girl in front of me, she's like, Gutierrez, you're eating your lip. I was, what? And she's like, look, go like that. And I touched my lip and it's like gushing. Like, there's so much blood. And I'm like, oh man, like, I thought I was doing so good. Like, literally from like this down, I was not able to feel anything. Like, that was like the weirdest thing in my life. But yeah. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is going to be my gas chamber experience. Turns out they're like, oh, if you have a leadership position, again, I was A-Rock. They're like, so A-Rock, RPOC, both the yeomen, and I think that's it. We were in the very, very back. And I was like, okay, I think that's like, we get to leave first then, right? And I was like, hey, okay. No. So they started dismissing like front row first. You have to say like your name, like your division, and I think that's it. But I'll be like, Sam Gutierrez, Division 030. And then, like, everybody says it. And then you guys, like, turn and then march off. For some reason, when there were, like, 2 rows in front of me, I started, like, my nose would, like, itch. Like, I don't know if you're Hispanic and your mom, like, burns the, like, chilies on the stove. And you know how, like, the house gets, like, spicy in a way? Like, I would breathe and, like, my throat would feel that, like, I was like, damn, the hell? And I was like, what the hell? My eyes start to burn. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? Like, my gas mask is not coming through right now. And because I was at the corner, like, at the very end, like, I was the first person to take it off. Like, I was already in there choking and crying. There was snot going down my face. I was like, what the hell? So, yeah, once they're like, okay, your turn, go. I was like, Super cookies here. I was dying. I was coughing. I was crying. I was done. And they're like, nope, you need to say the whole thing. You need to say it. And everybody else down the line is getting so mad at me because everybody has their masks off at this point. They're like, Gutierrez, hurry up. So I was like, yeah, there's out. And then, like, everybody else says it. And then we're out. You have to, like, walk out of the room and walk all the way. And, like, you're holding your snot. You have all this shit. And they're just like, just wipe it off on your pants. Are you serious? Like, we get in the room and they're like, just kind of go, and you have people like walking around the rest of the day with like snot marks and ooh. But that was honestly the most painful part of boot camp. But that's kind of how it is. Those are just some memories that I have, and hopefully this gives you a better look, a better insight of what goes on. How people are. As always, if you want to learn anything, if you want me to talk about anything specific, let me know down in the comments below. My social media is also down there if you guys want to reach out more privately. That's down there. I also have a ton of other videos that I made about the military already, so those might help with any questions that you already have, just to prevent, you know, like remaking videos. So yeah, feel free to check those out. If you like my content, feel free to. Not saying you have to, but it'll help a girl out. Give this video a like, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.